What's going on here? Alien abduction stories. Brought to you by HelloFresh. Anonymous 6 years ago. I've been abducted, but I only remember a few things. The first memory was a ball of light, or an orb, flying into my bedroom in the early hours of the morning. It was heading towards my face, and when I said go away, the orb turned around and headed back out of the room. The clearest episode was several years ago. I went to bed and fell asleep. Next thing I know, I'm sitting in my living room looking up at a large ship sitting above my house. The front had a fork shape, like the Millennium Falcon, and the back was straight. The ship was a light grey colour and just sat silently. I remember being absolutely amazed and tried to grab my iPhone to take a photo. The strange thing was that my hand went straight through my phone, like a ghost, so I couldn't grab it. While I was doing this, the ship suddenly and silently sped off at a very high rate of speed into the early morning daylight. What was also strange was that I could see the particles of matter that made up the walls and ceiling of my house, but I could also see through them to the outside. I mean, this sounds like a dream to me. It was at that moment I had the revelation that they were extra-dimensional beings that were abducting humans on a higher dimensional level. Now you're talking my language. Love the extra-dimensional stuff. They were not taking our physical body, but they were taking our energy body. Before this abduction, I had been reading books on theosophy that talked about humans being multi-dimensional beings and having several bodies, the physical, etheric, and astral. I believe that I woke up before I fully returned to my physical body. The strange thing was that I felt like they wanted me to experience this so as to help me understand the universe and who we are. Abducting humans on a higher dimension explains why nobody on the physical plane witnesses anything. It also explains why these abductions happen when we're asleep, because we can only be aware in higher dimensions when we sleep. Further research and discussions with alien researchers and fellow abductees confirmed I am not the only one who believes this. What I really want to know is, who are they? I have seen similar spaceships to theirs online, but I really want to know who they are. Interesting. Obviously, the whole like, oh, I couldn't touch my phone and stuff is because in theory he was on a higher dimensional plane. He was on the etheric plane. Okay, get that. Can follow that. Doesn't help. You know, you describe the ship looking a bit like the Millennium Falcon. I'm guessing you've seen Star Wars. You've just read a book on theosophy, which is all about multi-dimensional beings, etc. So it's fresh in your mind. I'm just saying this could be a bit of a lucid dream experience instead of an alien abduction. But that's not to say this wasn't an alien abduction. I'm just coming at it from both sides. Yeah? This video is brought to you by HelloFresh. Well, summer has been and summer has gone. Maybe you didn't quite get into the shape that you wanted to. I'm telling you, autumn, it's the new summer. So let's get an autumn bod, shall we, with HelloFresh. Let's eat some healthy, great food. HelloFresh is fantastic and it's really good for you, but do you know what else it's good for? It's good for your wallet. Right, I had a little browse through my bank statements and oh my goodness, did I spend a lot on takeaways. It really does add up. And since I started HelloFresh a few months ago, my outgoings on takeaways has reduced drastically, saving me so much money. There are so many benefits to HelloFresh. Well, you know, it's easy, it's delivered straight to your door, it's healthy, but the things that I've taken away massively is it's made me a better cook and I've saved a lot of money. That's without even getting into the health benefits of fresh food. Every week they've got new recipes on there, so no 2 weeks need to be the same. There's rapid, there's veggie, there's family friendly, calorie smart, global flavors. I personally go for calorie smart because it really helps me lose weight. If that's what you want, calorie smart, they're so delicious. HelloFresh, you can pause whenever you want, you can stop whenever you want, there's zero commitment. So let's get to the good bit, shall we? What's the discount? Well, you get 60% off your first box and 25% off the following 8 boxes. I'm telling you guys, it's a cheap, delicious way to do your food shopping. So use discount code DUDY60HF. There's also a unique link down below, or you can scan this right here. QR codes, they've literally changed the world, haven't they? It's so easy to grab your 60% off that first box. Thank you so much to HelloFresh for sponsoring this video. 4 years ago, Anonymous. I'm answering this anonymously as I have had and have a career where this kind of thing would have a very negative impact. It blows my mind that this kind of thing would have a negative impact on your career. Especially, I mean, I know this was 4 years ago, so what, 2019? But, like, surely now, with all the stuff coming out, like, this is no longer a thing where it's a negative impact. Surely. I was abducted in 1980. We lived outside of the city in a fairly rural area. There had been a few recent reports in the newspaper of UFOs being sighted and power outages that people believed were related. As a crow flies, that was just a mile or two away down the tall, high-voltage power lines that ran next to our house. Bit TMI, but one night, I was having a wet dream, and I awoke to find that it was no dream. I really couldn't tell exactly where I was, but there was a device, like a metallic tube, about 3 or 4 inches across. Right. Okay. There was a metallic tube about 3 or 4 inches across connected to my penis, and I kept ejaculating over and over. This is not what I was expecting. There was a screen about 3 feet from my face and off slightly to the left, and on it was like a movie playing the woman I had been seeing in the dream. It was a brunette straddling me and sexing me up. I didn't proofread these because I thought it'd be fun to get my, fresh reaction. But oh my goodness, this is not what I was expecting. But what are these aliens doing to us, huh? It was utterly terrifying, completely insane horror. This face then got right in my face. It looked like a demon, like a reptile, serpent, crocodile-looking face. I knew immediately that it was trying to put me back into the dream. I fought mentally, but everything went black. I woke up the next morning with 8 little wounds on my penis. It was in a pattern one would expect if they were bitten. 4 on one side, 4 on the other. I was very sore for days. I had very clear scars for about 30 years. Although faint, I can still see remainders of the scars, and even in my late 50s, my sex drive is still like it was 38. Didn't need to know that. That piece of information about the sex drive was literally fucking pointless. Over the years, I've tried to reason this away and move on with my life. As it applies to this issue, it's those scars that keep me from being able to live in the normal world like other people where there's nothing behind the curtain of daily reality. I cannot explain what happened to me. The only explanation I have is that it was an alien abduction. What I have learned in 38 years since it happened is that abduction continues for life. Before my mother died, I told her what had happened to me. She told me similar stories of what happened to her and my grandparents. To be honest, I'm mostly ashamed and would never go public. I have had sightings in the years since. They no longer freak me out. I accept them as the insanity that is my life. I know how powerless I am. In fact, we all are. If they wanted to kill me or otherwise harm me, they could have done that many times. If that's true and not just a dream and maybe a drunken sexual experience that left scars that he was so drunk he forgot about, and it was an alien abduction, man, I mean, we've all heard about the anal probe of aliens. Now they've got a penis ejaculating machine with prongs that leave scars. Yikes. I'm not 100% sold yet on either of these, purely because they could be dreaming, and they even kind of admit they're dreaming. Okay, James Hale, self-educated traveller, law skirter, don't skirt the law, with a good heart, conspiracy theorist and fool. As I write this, there are 2 other answers, and I believe I can tell from their wording and my own armchair knowledge that both folks are being quite sincere. I assure you, stranger tales, that these can be told sincerely. After all, what did you think reality was? Something we can fully understand? Ha! That was always just whistling past the graveyard. I've never heard that phrase before. Whistling past the graveyard. Back in the 80s, I was on a long barefoot hike, interesting, in the Cumberland Mountains with my friend Scott. He rode me there on the back of his Ducati. Then we scaled a canyon, climbed a mountain, and watched the sunset. All with no shoes on. On the night hike back down the top of Rainbow Falls, we saw across the creek, Middle Creek, a glowworm glowing by a cliff. We crossed the creek straight to it and checked it out. A few seconds later, Scott saw the UFO, and then I saw it as well. He freaked and I tried to calm him down, but when the UFO moved towards us, we both screamed with a chimpanzee's sound. We were so freaked, it got to about 30 feet away and was glowing white like a tube light. It was about 10 feet wide, shaped like Saturn. We were stuck in place, screaming wildly. Then a front porch swing appeared on a flat rock in a down-angled spotlight across Middle Creek. It was like morphine. We completely calmed down and were saying, oh, it's just a front porch swing. It's just a swing. I went from the most freaked out I'd ever been to completely calm in 1 second. I remember stepping into the creek and helping Scott down so we could sit on the swing. My memory split at this point. The next thing I know, we are making the dangerous night climb down the cliffs around the falls, knowing nothing of any UFO. About 6 months later, I started having flashbacks to what happened, but of course, told no one. 2 years later, I told my friend Sheldon. He said he knew someone with that same story. He introduced me to Joe. Joe said he was on Middle Creek at night with a friend and they saw a glowworm off the trail and they went to it and then saw a strobe burst, and when they got back to their car, it was hours later than it should have been. He said later he started having flashbacks, but his memories took him onto the craft and included sperm extraction. What's going on here? The aliens are growing humans. I'm slightly concerned. I wasn't expecting this much sperm in this video. If I hadn't met Joe and heard the same story, same creek, same year, you never would have read this. Thanks. I always feel a little bit better when I tell this. Jim. P.S. I hear skeptics whistling. Maybe they're whistling past a graveyard, Jim. This video has done something I didn't think it would. It gave me a fear that aliens are using us for breeding purposes. Because I don't like the fluid extraction that's going on in these stories. I don't know about you guys. Let me know down below. Hit that like button, you know it makes sense. So there we go, guys. That was 3 very interesting alien abduction stories on Quora. If you'd like another video like this, then I'll happily do it. I did a video where I was reading an article and giving my thoughts and feedback as we were going through, and I saw a really nice comment the other day that said I really like this type of video because it feels unscripted, which it is, and it feels like, you know, we're seeing the real you given the back and forth and your actual thoughts. So I thought, okay, I'll do another one. I'll do it about Quora and the whole alien abduction thing, because I won't lie, I'm on an alien abduction hype. So here we are. So yeah, let me know what you think. Thank you so much to HelloFresh for sponsoring this video. All the links and stuff are down below in the comments and in the description. I'm gonna give a shout out to my patron of the day, and today the patron of the day is Tara Niels. Tara, thank you so much for being a patron. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of my patrons. You can become a patron for as little as £1 or $1 a month, and you get so many bonus content over there. Thank you very much, and I will see you again very soon. Sweet one. Geese.